Welcome to another episode of the Politrickkks As Usual podcast. Today I got my guy Ashton with me, the youth mentoring coach. So, sidebar, outside of that, because that was a hard explanation, I just want to say this guy does a lot in the community. I know that you are super active with children in so many different capacities, from basketball to just being available. And so that's why I didn't really want to pigeonhole you into one thing. I know you do many things, but I'll let you explain what you do a little better than me.
On a daily, I mean, if we're talking at the school, I'm a paraprofessional. I work with kids that are in special needs.
What school? You work at a school? Which school is that?
I work at West Hill High School.
Oh, I didn't know you worked at West Hill.
Yeah, I do it all. I'm all in one.
Oh, nice.
So, it's imperative to keep myself in areas where I know our kids are needed most, like the support. So I also work at the Boys and Girls Club in the afternoon, and that's where I get the bulk of the community and people that are going to West Hill or going to be up and coming going to West Hill, because it's like a great little like rolling cycle of like
Right. So you get them kind of like early, and you kind of got them all the way through high school.
pretty much. So I get to see them go through their development of life.
That's awesome. And so backstory, like we don't have to talk too much about the past, but we know each other from past lives. I always say through high school,
High
whatever.
school.
And so I'm fortunate enough to have watched everyone's maturation and watch everyone's growth. And I want to tell you that I'm super proud and love to watch your growth and maturation and the impact that you make. And I think that when I think back about us and just life, like I don't think I could have predicted any of this. Not for me anyway. But what about yourself? I mean, because was this always something that was in your path or in your life?
No, man. Honestly, yo, I really thought I was gonna be selling sneakers. No funny, yo. Like dead serious. Like that. I was into sneakers so heavy, so I was thinking about just owning a sneaker store. But none of that panned out. I ended up working with kids, and then I never stopped. It just was something I enjoyed, and I try to make sure that you know you leave a legacy, a mark. There's like a purpose. Like, what are you doing that is going to be remembered for decades? So I'm shocked myself sometimes. Like, again, I just do what God has asked me to do and stay out the way of anything nonsense that's not helping the kids. If it's not about the kids, I can't serve it.
I think that one thing that I've identified in our community, and I say our community, I mean the Black community, obviously, and the hoods or wherever you want to say, is there was a lack of male leadership. I think there was a lack of Black male leadership. And I think that was a result of lots of things, like war on drugs and lots of things that removed a lot of Black men out of communities. And I think that we are starting to return to a place of Black men being present. And I also believe that it's super important for us to be present. And so that's why I've also made myself available to my community, because it's like, where is the male leadership, right? So we need more Ashtons, we need more Mikes, we need more people to activate themselves for service. And I think that if enough of us do that, we'll start changing the trajectory of things.
I mean, the thing that you're saying is easier said than done, but a lot of us are not doing the simple steps. And the simple steps are getting yourself familiar with your environment. What is needed? What is missing? Being in the areas that are providing certain services, right. Being connected with the people that are reaching out to tell you that they need certain helps or they're doing things. Allowing yourself to be of service when you have the time, or just knowing you have to get connected, because it's not fair to say they're not doing anything, but you're not being the helping result. And there's a lot of that. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? And there's nothing being done. And it's a roundabout of that. So the absence is the absence is, it's, I hate to call it norm. It's the norm, but it can be changed if we decide to start doing, all right, it's just not one person, it's multiple people doing the same thing. And you don't have to just do it just because, oh, somebody, told you have to do it. You have to do it because this is just something that comes out of your heart. Kids are something that come out of like the purity of a woman's womb. So that's love. So like if you're coming out to take care of someone else's kid, how would you want that child to be taken care of outside of your own home? If it's not love, that's, it's like psychotic, it's scary. Anybody that has kids will tell you it's hard to let your kid go outside by themselves without thinking about a million and one things that would damage or hurt them. So you want to be mindful of your environment. So how do we make sure that that child is protected from A to B? How do we make sure that the person that's there is present by being aware that, you know what, if Ashton's doing it, if Mike's doing it, if such and such is doing it, if Woods is doing it, if anybody that's standing out that's making a stance on being different and making sure that people know that they have a place to have a safe home or a conversation, bro, it helps a lot.
Oh, it helps enormously. And so you said a few things. Um, one, so I'm born in 1983. So this is pre war on drugs and all that. So I got like all the OGs and I got everybody in my community. And one of the benefits that we got to participate in was being raised by a community. So you said about like sending your kid outside and just knowing that it was okay. And so Ashton is out there, that's great. But see, in our neighborhood, we was like, yo, so-and-so's out there and that person's out there, they got your back. Like they're gonna watch out for us. So when we as kids would come out on the west side, all of our older dudes was like, yo, get up out of here, this ain't right, or what I need from the ice cream truck, or this ain't safe. It's like they protected us. And that sense of community is kind of lost and kind of gone.
It's not lost. It's still there. Yeah. I mean, the problem is everybody on their cell phone. The problem is nobody's paying attention to everybody and what they're doing. And when the people are paying attention, look, I'm telling you right now, if we could go to the park.
But wouldn't that even be what you say? If everybody's on their cell phone, that means they pulled the energy back. That means I'm selfish
It's
now.
stuck on them.
Right,
They're stuck in
right.
a loop, whatever they locked in on.
Like a selfish mindset instead of the
That is
community
selfish.
mindset that was serving everybody.
They're missing the point because they're living in this point. And when you're living in this point, you miss the points that's around you. So a lot of people are absent-minded. So they don't see that there's benefits of you just keeping your head up and being aware, being attentive of what's going on. Again, nothing's safe until you grant it safe.
And that's one thing that another thing that I wanted to speak on was that you said like safe spaces, and that's one thing, another vacuum I realized was missing for Black men, and particularly like street guys. So where I come in at and kind of my walk has been is I've been able to reach the strongest, toughest guys who aren't vulnerable anywhere, and they get vulnerable with me. They'll cry, all of that. And it's necessary for that release because I too was a guy who I wouldn't even want to dance because I'm like, nah, they gonna think I'm soft. Nah, I ain't dancing. And so we put these shields and these armors on to protect ourselves, but we can't be that all day. There's a time where we got to be vulnerable. And I think that when you're in a hood or you're in a dangerous environment, it makes it extremely hard to be vulnerable because if I show you vulnerability, that might come off as an opportunity for somebody to try me or take something from me. And I think that a lot of our mindsets fell into that. And so we put on these these bravados and these things to
Well,
protect
again,
ourselves.
you were brought up in 1983. I was born in 1984. We were brought up in a tough time. Right. You had to hold it in. Shut the fuck up. You can't say that. You can't express that. You say what? Right. I'll punch you in your mouth right now. You do that. I'll show you something to worry about and cry about. And you had to go, okay, but this generation is allowed to. The problem is they don't know how to. And how they're doing it is very grotesque. It's not beauty. It's very ugly. And they're not as brainwashed as we were on certain things that they understand. They're fully aware. You have to negotiate with this generation. Sure. You're not gonna tell them, nah, they're not doing that.
That's why the job market is where it is.
They don't care. I don't care. They don't care. Like this generation does not care. They're on their type of time, which I ain't gonna hold you. I wish a lot of us was like that and realized that we had the power and they understand it. And a lot of them are doing for themselves and a lot of them are working for themselves. The first thing that they have to understand is you have to find the person that makes you feel safe. Right. Again, it may not be home, it may be outside of home, but that person has to be an extension of what you would want to be as a person. There's always pieces and parts. You have a part, I have a part, there's someone else that has another part that you take from to be who you want to rightfully be, so you won't have to wear this badge of honor or protection because it's not necessarily needed. What's needed is your wisdom, your ability to be an emotionally intelligent individual in the room and outside the rooms. And there's going to be rooms you're not going to be able to be in because guess what? You weren't ready. That's right. And when you're not ready, you're not going to understand why you're not ready, because you're going to be in your emotions, because your emotions lead to your ego, and your ego leads to your pride. And that pride leads you to nowhere.
Right. So I tell everyone, like the streets call me M Dot, right? But M Dot was a character that was developed based on my environment. Like I started off Michael, straight A student all the way up until about 6th grade, right? And then you're in an environment that's kind of hostile. And I'm like, yeah, I can't let these dudes. I'm not gonna be the victim out here. You know what I mean? And you start turning up this energy. And I call that M Dot, right? And there was a point where I realized that M Dot had to go. Like the M Dot couldn't serve the community because that attitude and personality and bravado and ego and things that person was couldn't be as helpful. And so I went through a process of change, and a process of, God put you through a process, but I went through a process, and it's like killing your ego and killing that old version of myself. So I tell everybody today, I'm Michael. Like you got to re-meet me, because that person that was there was only there for that time. And I'm in a whole different space, in a whole different environment, and I'm serving in a different way. And M. Dot is not needed, but Michael is needed. And so,
Michael has come to serve.
and that's who's in front of this camera, and that's who's on this
who's
mic.
showing it right. I mean, you said something that was really like, eye raising. You can't kill the person that was the main character at one point. Right. You must let him know that at this very moment, I'm putting you aside.
That's it.
We are now taking over. Michael is now taking over because Michael now understands his rightful throne. It is just like the movie Lion King. People miss that perception so many times. I watched that movie so many times because I understood it. Oh, The Matrix is my baby.
The Matrix.
Not that Matrix.
Real quick though, I saw a clip with Lawrence Fishburne in it, and he said the character Morpheus. Do you know who he represents in the Bible? Morpheus.
No, tell me.
John the Baptist, bro. So John the Baptist baptized Jesus. Morpheus appears in Neo's life to baptize him, to let him know you the one, bro. Fire, bro.
No, it's a black woman that made the. I know it. She wrote this. She wrote that. It goes from Terminator, and then it goes into the Matrix, and which is it's such a dope trifecta of how they did it, and it puts you in that retrospective understanding. You understood yourself, and now you found a way to now blossom into this. This is what you created because you decided to just serve and just give up on the extra. The extra stuff was the ego, the pride, as you said, that bad. We do this. We put up this shield that does nothing for us. It's just an ego thing. And as you climb up the ladder of age, you realize that it's worthless. It has nobody cares. Once people start moving and leaving and doing whatever X, Y, and Z, no one cares about little old you. Right. All they care about are you serving, are you changing, or what you're doing with your life that's new. If not, just wasting your time thinking that people care about what you're doing. They're not.
That's right. And the only thing people truly remember is how you make them feel. I think people
this is a feeling world.
It's a feeling world. People, there's people that's in a material world, and so it's the material things, but it's all about how you leave somebody feeling. And so I try to leave people better than I found them. I try to always bring them up and not down if I can. Sometimes it's hard truths that have to be told to people that may inadvertently bring them down, but it's still out of love.
It's not indirect. It's direct. That's what you can't say. Even say it. You have to be direct. Like
I'm direct. I'm saying
no, not you. I'm talking about that person has to receive it.
For sure.
Because
for sure.
I could use me as an example, and I'm always going to use me as an example. I was very stubborn until I realized that you can't be stubborn with things that need to be changed within me. So for me to get things done and to evolve to be this next step of a person, I had to shed the person that I once was. Mm-hmm. The person that I once was afraid to take these steps, afraid to speak in front of people, afraid to take opportunity.
That's a shocker though, because as long as I know you, bro, you've been like outgoing. You was like really like class president type of guy. Like you was really like social.
For those moments, not for these moments. Everything I'm not going to hold you. I'll look in the mirror and I'm already meditating what I'm doing. So I'm already prepared for those moments because I already envisioned that they were going to happen. So boom, they happen. I'm prepared. But now for these moments, I'm better prepared because I let go of that egotistical person who wanted to be perfect in front of others. So to be this person now who's free spirited, who understands the flow of life, is to let go of all these bounds of everything that is chaining us, that's holding us back and making us feel that we can't be one. We're all one source. We're all one person. Like we all bleed the same thing.
That's see when you really wake up, you know that. Like it's like all one thing here, bro. Everything is like the same.
Your awakening call will make you understand why you have to dial back the nonsense and why your truth has to be straightforward. Because
No, yeah, the truth is always going to be straightforward. But like we talked about earlier off the camera, sometimes they won't receive it properly.
but that's why we have to speak to it
Oh,
in
for sure.
a manner where, all right, I have to speak to your level of frequency so you can better understand it. So this is what I've learned because some people don't get it because of it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you say it to a person, they could receive it as, hey, you coming at me. Or they could receive it as, no, you just talking to me and just make sure that.
Or though, sorta, but sometimes. So here's like a parable I saw somewhere, right? Like a thing, right? A butterfly, right? A butterfly starts off in a cocoon. It's a caterpillar. It's in there, and it has no wings, and it's covered in a thick gooey thing. But when it's time to emerge, it starts using its wings to break free. If you come over there and you break it out, it can't fly. And the reason it can't fly is because it pushing out is strengthening its wings to fly. And so what I truly have realized is that some people just aren't ready to fly. And no matter how you put it on a plate, they just can't receive it. And so what I also have to learn how to do is yield back and meet people exactly where they are and kind of let them go through the process of thinking, the process of making mistakes, the process of them learning for themselves and coming to those realizations and truths for themselves. Because again, if you give somebody a fish, they have a fish today, but you teach them how to fish, they'll eat forever. So they got to arrive at a point of understanding for themselves. And I can't always give them the answer, even if I know the answer. It's like how God loves, right? God knows the answer for you, but he'll let you fall because he know you won't die. And so he'll let you go through that process of figuring it out and realization. And so sometimes we find ourselves trying to push information on somebody who's just truly not ready. And so there's a fine line, a fine balance.
You can oversaturate somebody with so much information that they don't take it. They can't regurgitate, they can't receive it, they can't process it. It's an overload. Or you could say it as slow as possible and they still don't receive it. Because there's certain people that can receive the download and certain people that can't.
Either they tune to it or they ain't.
And again, it's a choice. It's when you awaken, are you willing to make that shift? Because the shift is coming. The shift is already here. And if you're not on the shift, you're going to be left behind. What side are you going to be on? It's on you. So as a person, your job is to make your effect on how you decide to take on life now. We can't bury ourselves about what we did in the past. That's like you said, you shed it. Well, like the cocoon, like that butterfly, you got to fight to get out. And now this New Testament is the beauty of how now my wings look. What color am I now? Now, the color is how bright you want to shine, how bright you want the other person to be, because your bright brightens others. When you are shining, you can shine anyone else's light. And no matter how dim, no matter how light, how strong, because they could be strong too. That doesn't mean they'll still need flames because they could run out. So your job as a person, as long as you stay on your path, there's nothing you have to worry about losing those who don't receive. Some of us are so gun-ho on keeping everyone bounded in. It's a struggle you will never win. Not every room you're accepted. Not every room you should want to be accepted. Be mindful. You have to protect yourself. This is your vessel. Your choice of what protects you and puts you in the right rooms is your choice of how you speak on people and how you speak on yourself. If you carry yourself with respect, you're going to get respect. But if you carry yourself with disrespect, you're not going to get no respect. You want to honor yourself? Choose to work on your emotional controls, not to be in your feelings of flow of falling short to what other people think of you or talk to you about. The job as an individual is to develop, to know how to be a better sense of yourself so you don't have to try, you're doing. When you do, then anyone tell you? I'm going to say that again. When you do, what can anyone tell you? I've never heard anyone have an excuse for somebody that shows up, turns on the light, and makes sure that you have running water. I'll wait. Oh yeah, that's right. Because there's no way. When you have those things and those freedoms, those liberties, and those are constant, you're going to always make sure that that's working and is running. That's making sure. So now, you know that you provide that. Make sure you provide yourself this safe haven. You are giving grace every day. Every day that light comes back on, that sun shines bright, you get a chance. Even when it's cloudy, you get a chance. No matter how dark it is, it's got to show some light. You get a chance. And that's the chance you have to take. The chance is on you to make the difference. You want to be the savior, you only save one person, and that starts with yourself. What I learned in life is that you have to save self. There's no way you're going to change anything in life if you're trying to change everything around you but yourself. That's why I watched my mom pass away from. She helped everyone. And my mom had liver 4 stage cancer. And my mom was anemic. And my mom had a blood transfusion that went left. You know how much I got to live with inside my soul? But I don't leave none of that on anyone. But I let that be out. You know why? Because it doesn't hurt me to let you know what I felt, to understand, to grow. There's so many hurting moms that don't know what to do because they're left alone. So if you don't have a support system, it's hard for you to understand that. But you have to find the people that are doing right, not the wrong. It's easy to do all the loud shit. That is the first thing we learn to do. Curse, do all the wrong stuff, do the stuff that make everybody laugh. Bro. But when it's time to do the right stuff, it's the most difficult thing in the world because you have to be righteous and willing to do it on a consistent. And you have to be willing to hear the criticism of people who are not willing to do what you're doing because they're mad that you're able to do it on a consistent. So either or, you're still going to get a crowd of noise. It's your perspective to choose on going forth or giving up. There's a lot of us that give up and a lot of us that move forward, and they don't stop. And those that don't stop build these platforms for us to speak about the things that we want to change. Things that we want to change is the way people see themselves. If you perceive yourselves to be weak, you are weak. If you perceive yourselves to be enlightened, then you are the most enlightened one in the room. No one can educate an enlightened one.
That's the saying. I think, therefore I am.
It starts with that, you know, that where we came from and what we have to do as a collective. We just have to understand that the steps we take today are the steps to make a change.
For sure.
The steps that we want to project all have to take a person to want to be willing to work on themselves. You have to want to work on yourself to really be the change that you're looking for. We too many times we try to force or we try to magnetize one person and forget about the people that are working their way up. Mm-hmm. You have to applaud the person that doesn't know that they're doing something that's really lightful.
And so that's why this exists. That's why you're sitting here, right?
Thank you.
Because I'm watching. Even with Woods, I'm trying to get Woods. Like, I have a enormous respect for Woods. You know, Woods helped me out when I came home, and I did community service with Woods. Like, Woods is amazing. You know,
my mentor, by the way.
You know, and so I see y'all doing the work. And so when I see people doing the work, I'm like, yo, you want to come on the podcast? Because I just feel like, again, we're in a negative world. We're in a world that highlights and celebrates negativity. And we miss a lot of the positivity, the people who are actually doing good things. And it could also, it can start feeling like nobody's doing anything good, you know? So I know, and I know we don't do it for accolades and we don't do it for recognition, but it's nice to be recognized. And I want to just show the world, the people, like, yo, there's people out here, regular people that's doing amazing work. And these are the people that are making the actual change. And these are the people we need to support and donate to and fund and help out, because these are the people who have the proper heart posture to make the change that we need, right? But I think that a lot of people are scared as well to be in your shoes. Like, it takes courage to be outspoken like you are. It takes a lot to go out there and put yourself in a room and be this confident. And I think some people are so fearful, they'll hide behind you, or they'll hide behind a celebrity, or hide behind me. And so I try to encourage people to come out from behind these shadows.
And that's why I'm grateful that I'm a coach, because again, a youth mentor coach, this goes back to what the whole point is. I am here to teach the youth to be their righteous self. Mm-hmm. Why are we running? Why are we hiding? Why are we not telling the truth? Mm-hmm. I'm telling them straight up. You want to be the best? Prove it.
What sport are you coaching in?
Basketball.
We're going to talk about you in a second. I told you we could do this the whole thing, but we'll get to your actual profession and what you actually do.
Like, so for me, what I do with my students and my kids, I mentor them and let them understand to be themselves.
Mhm.
I don't disrupt the growing process.
Right.
I seed them. I also let them know what you're being seeded for.
Right.
If you cannot perform, you are a liability. You are not getting on the court.
Right.
Period. That is a truth. Now, you know what that does? That teaches the child that they have to meet this requirement. My kids call it me being demanding. I'm very demanding. Guess what? It gets the job done for them. It has a proud parent coming down going, wow, my son played amazing. It makes me feel great because that's what I want you to feel like.
Right.
I want your dinner tables because we didn't have that.
Right.
When moms didn't come to our games, they couldn't make it. They was working.
Word up, bro.
For the kids' parents that are, which is dope, I'm taking every advantage to make sure that you get to see your child smile. But it takes a process. And some of the times you're given so much pressure that you don't realize that it's not really no pressure. It's just a choice, and you have to operate to the end. Operate to the end. You don't make the end of the decision. I don't make the choices if we win or lose.
Right.
I just make sure that I put them in the best position to win.
Oh, that's it. That's
so
what you do.
A lot of it is just you have to know what you're growing and what you're teaching, what you're giving and what you're not giving. And you have to understand that certain things that you're going to give are not going to be always taken in. Some things are going to take them some time. Sure. There's so many great highlights about being a coach, but just being a mentor and in general, it's the beauty of being able to see everything and be able to connect with everything to help others connect with what they need, just to build the gap, just to build the bridge, just to make sure that they understand that there's nothing missing. When they understand that there's someone supporting them in their ideas or their goals, bro, they're going to work harder.
For sure.
Because they know that someone believes in them. And that's all a child is looking for: belief, an understanding. But you have to be raw and uncut. They're listening to songs that are raw and uncut. For sure. So if you can't be raw and uncut and be consistent, don't be in their face because they ain't trying to hear that.
For sure. So earlier you said about listening to music or whatever, and I actually posted something a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. Time is just moving, right?
Yes.
And I posted about a mental diet. Like, we are in a material world, so people tend to focus on the things we can only see, right? So I tell people, like, your body's your body. You can see the body. If you ate bad food all day, you didn't exercise, you didn't eat a good diet, what would happen to your body? So you probably start experiencing sickness. You'll be obese. Things will start going wrong, right? And I think that we focus on these muscles, but what about this muscle? Because this also is a muscle. And there's a way that this muscle eats. And so how does this muscle eat, right? Through our eyes and through our ears. So the things we take in through our eyes and the things we hear through our ears is what our brains processes for food, and it regurgitates an experience. And so if you're ingesting low quality things all day, bad music that's not doing anything for anybody but the person that's making the music, right? It's making the money, but it's not helping us soul or helping you do nothing. It's not high vibrational, high frequency music. It doesn't even make you feel good, right? Then you're eating crappy food. You're eating McDonald's, and the production of that ingestion is only going to be nastiness outward. How can you put out good something if you take in all bad things? So you gotta really regulate the things you even engage in mentally and with your eyes and with your ears. You have to be careful.
And those are the things that a lot of us miss. We misperceive what we should take that we think are good. And a lot of it is hype. Mm-hmm. And when it's hype to you, and again, it's on air, you thinking this is the right thing. And on air is all it's doing is confusing you. Confusing the air of your thoughts and the thoughts of where you should be. And where you should be is within you. And what you should be doing is taking moments to step away, taking those walks, taking those jogs, if you got a bike. If you got a skateboard. Do the fun activities.
Or like me, that's why I have the drone. People don't even know that's where the drone came from. So what people don't know about the drone, they see me flying this drone, and I love flying it. So two things the drone did. One was a childhood wound, right? As a child, I always wanted a remote control airplane. So I don't know if you remember back in the day, those JCPenney catalogs.
What?
And you flip to the back and you got all the toys, bro.
Yeah, it's one that everybody wanted.
Bro, it's planes and boats. I'm like, I need one. But the price was crazy.
Nobody could afford it.
Couldn't afford it, yo. So it was something I always wanted. But when I started going through this transformation, I had to ask myself, like, Mike, what can you do for yourself that don't require anybody else, but it bring me joy? Like, what are the things that make me happy? And I just started putting those things in my life. So good music, like certain songs, like what song is this? Is my song? Oh, that's my song. Well, that's my song. I put them in a row, 20 songs. So I'm in the gym. That's my song. That's my song. And I just started placing things in my world that gave me joy and only me joy. And it let me be alone with myself. So when I fly in a drone, it's just me. And I'm just here with like nature and God. And that's really the difference in starting to transform yourself. I think a lot of people, you said earlier about the external and the internal. And a lot of people are doing this backwards. They think the external things are going to change the internal things. So they say things like, if I just have money, I'll be happy. Or if I just had a girl, I'll be happy. Or if I just had this, I'll be happy. But the reality is, no, if you fix the inner, you'll attract all those things to you. The right girl, the right job, the right this, the right that. But first, you got to fix inside you. It starts inside you. And once you change the inner world, the outer world changes. People are approaching changing the outer world thinking it's going to change the inner world, and that's backwards.
I mean, but that's what's scripted right now. If you look at all the shows that they watch,
that's
what's
right.
on TV,
chase
what's on
the bag,
MTV,
chase the money.
Bag. Like everything is exploiting us.
Right.
Everything is taken from us. And then you think that's how you're supposed to act and that's how you're supposed to behave. It's a pattern to disrupt.
That's right.
What your job is to be the disruptor. Again, if you want to change it, change that. I'm not on that. That's
and
not
it's very uncomfortable being the disruptor, but
I don't care.
But no, me either.
You can't care. It's like
you have to be unapologetic. Yeah.
Why'd you like Tyson? Why'd you like Jordan? Why you wearing Jordans?
That's right.
Why do I that dog mentality? I don't care. Bro.
I don't care.
I don't do none of that extra stuff. That stuff ain't for me.
That's
and
right.
sometimes it's not politically correct. Sometimes it doesn't fit into other people's pocket, but it fits into the narrative to protect, to keep you from falling into the traps that a lot of people fall into. And there's that black hole of that loop that shoulda, coulda, you did, and you're in that same category. You don't want to be in that cesspool in the next 10 years because most of the stuff that you're doing right now, in 10 years from now, you ain't going to be doing.
That's right.
And the things that you are going to do from the next 10 years are going to be trying to recoup from what you didn't salve you and you didn't learn from. So like the reality is you're going to be correcting your mistakes because you didn't get it now, you'll get it later.
That's right.
And some people, like you said earlier, they're going to take some time. But again, the journey is for you to take the time to learn you. As you said, what gave you joy is find your joy. For me, what gives me joy is learning myself and then learning where I came from. Once you start losing and people start dying off in your family, the people that don't even connect with me, they're already dead.
Yeah.
So I'm already out here on my own. If you don't connect with me, I connect with those who connect with me. I'm not going to wait on you.
That's it.
The job is to be done every day. Figure out how to be the best version of yourself. How would God do it?
Right. You know, it's funny you said that. You know, back in the day, they used to wear those "What would Jesus do" things, right? And I used to like laugh, like, what? But that's really the truth. It's like, you know, if you know the scripture, you like ask yourself before you do something like, what would Jesus do? Is a real thing because you'll do a lot of things differently if you just like ask yourself that question.
Take that moment. We don't take a moment to pause. We're not taught that.
No, for sure.
You take a moment to spaz out, black out, crash out. All those beautiful things that everybody loves.
That's the easy thing. It's hard to be in control, bro.
Because you know when somebody pull out that phone, you got the list.
It's hard to be in control, bro.
But to be in control, to walk away from someone, to get out of the frame, to not be in someone's light, to not go back and forth. But every time you say hard, you've done it before. You've blocked somebody. You've changed your address. You've changed your number. It's not that hard.
Oh, no.
It is a no. Meaning like, not you. I'm saying in general, because the word hard is always being brought up, but hard doesn't stop you from making those choices. It's you. You make the hard choices of either doing it or don't. I said this earlier where
hard, but necessary. That's what I
always necessary.
But it ain't easy because I again, as much work as I've done, I fall short, bro. I go outside and somebody try it and I'll be like, boy,
you're human.
Boy, you know what I'm saying? And so the restraint is harder.
It's how do you, all right, the perspective is, do you go back on your old self?
Exactly.
Do you go back to that? Or do you stay Mike?
And that's the struggle.
So
when I say hard, I mean within myself, bro, because I wrestle, bro. Me and Liz talked about it, and I think people get confused when you like walking with a guy where they think that you perfect.
No, bro.
I wrestle, bro.
I curse. I talk very straightforward,
bro.
and
Yeah.
people are going to sometimes be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, you too loose with it.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to." That's life.
Of course.
Some people are going to think that my antics are too much, but that's your perspective because you haven't won nothing. I love that slide. You got to go through it.
Right,
When you go through the hammer and you realize, I don't want to hear none of you saying because you ain't on this level.
Word.
To be on this level, you have to have the toughest skin. To understand what we're going through. Yeah, we got to go through. You're going to be challenged every day. Not every day you're going to walk out your house with a smile. Not every day you're going to be able to give people that full grace that you want to, but you give them enough because you know how the other side of you, of your ego, of your pride, of your I don't give a.
I'll be telling people like, yo, leave me alone, please, man. Because I'm trying, bro. I'll be like, yo, please just leave me alone. Because if I got to turn this other guy, I don't want to. And so I always.
Sometimes they got to get a little taste.
I'd be like, boy,
I'm not gonna go to the extreme.
Yeah,
I know. Hear my bark.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be like,
boy, leave me alone, man.
I'm not just a jolly person. I'm a person that has a I have a place where I call a respect line, and I feel that everyone should have a place of a respect line,
a boundary,
and because boundaries. See, when you say the word boundaries. I start thinking of Fort Knox now. I start thinking of these big ass fucking shits where you're now secluded from everybody and you don't got no chance.
A boundary just means a line that that you.
Let me just draw my side of the line.
That's it. It's just a line. It's just a boundary.
When the boundaries for me, what I see with boundaries, there's non-negotiables with certain boundaries.
Possibly.
No. This is just reality. We go to non-negotiable because if it's a boundary, you cannot cross that line. It's over.
That's true. I agree.
When you're just crossing the line, you're teeter-tottering because you know if you go over the line, guess what? There's no coming back. All right. With the boundary, you know you do it.
Stop. Slap, slappy. No, for sure.
So we know how to play the game. So the game is, I know not to go over because over-exceeding means that I have to give you my full length of my wrath. You should never do that. If it's not in a place of protecting anyone or protecting self, it should be nothing other than defending or reminding that you have to keep yourself protected from nonsense. Because sometimes some people deserve the lashing. Now, it is...
But you still can't give it to them.
No. I don't know, bro.
You're not supposed to.
Who said that?
The Bible. Vengeance is mine. You're not supposed to do nothing.
Well, I'm not saying it in a vengeful way.
Okay.
You are the best part of yourself by understanding who you are. And by understanding that you're going to have to take steps back. And to perfect your craft, it's the truth that perfects your craft.
1,000%.
You know, you have to trust the process of truth. And once you receive the truth, you can receive when it becomes uncomfortable. But it's not uncomfortable for you. It's because you're now shedding something that you have not shedding. You're sharing something that once used to be something that used to hold you back, but now you're able to let out because you know that you're letting this person know that this is what's been done to me and it needs to be corrected. Or it's not even been done, or just need to state it.
Right.
Sometimes we need to make the statement better than we just hold back and feel like, oh, no, I want to be this graceful person.
You got to bring something to people's awareness.
To the fact.
People are unaware. They just don't.
And I like to keep everyone included. I think the job as individual is to keep it open. You don't just have a conversation with the kid and then the mom. No, it's all of us. Because if all of us are on the same page, that thing won't happen again. And that's what the community is also has to remember is all of us. It takes all of us. It's not just one. It's not me. It's not you. It's all of us. Everybody. It's collective to all the people that are out there doing their thing. It takes a village. It really does. I so commend everyone that does every day. They get up every day and they do it out of their hearts. I so commend the people that do it every day for their children. I so commend the people that do it every day because they know they have to make this lifestyle make it make sense. And they're doing it with the pure will of their heart and with God. That's right. Again, the testimony is just finding peace within yourself and understanding that as you grow, you also let go. And as you're letting go, you're also shedding the old ways of yourself.
That's right.
And as you said, you become this new lighter version of yourself. God, new brighter version of yourself. That all these things that we're talking about that used to crush, that would, like the topics we talked about, would, we couldn't sing.
Right.
Couldn't even talk on. But now we can dial back and understand because we can dissect and actually express because you experience death of losing a family member. And again, losing your mom is one of the biggest things that had to happen to me and you for us to change our perspectives.
That started me. You know what did me to my brother, bro? That one shifted me overnight. You see, my mother, right? And it's funny. I'll tell this to these people, right? With my mother, I processed that differently. It's mom, bro. It's it. I buried it. I went right back to work. The week I was back in work. People like, "Are you straight, bro?" I'm good, bro. I'm good, bro. Because I was always taught strength was like, don't cry. Like that's what I thought, right? And so I'm good. I'm good. So I push it down. I go back to work. I'm busting my ass at work. I'm just dialed in, right? And I don't think I ever fully processed it. So when it happened to my brother, that was different because I'm like, yo, we always kind of talked about it because we was in the streets, bro. So we always was like, it's a possibility, like it could happen. But I process it differently. I let the emotions just go. I let everything go the way it was gonna go. But what it did for me was my brother. So I don't know how well you knew my brother, but my brother to me represented like a superhero, bro. Like that dude was invincible to me. I seen that guy do some incredible stuff and get out of some perilous situations that we shouldn't have got out of, but we got out of it. So it was more unbelievable. I was like, ain't no way he going, right? But what it did was show me, I said, yo, wait a minute. If that could happen to him, shit, I don't stand a chance. He's super gay. He in the streets. This guy dedicated to this shit. He lived for this shit for real. And I said, man, if that could happen to him, anybody, it don't matter what you did out here. It don't matter how tough you are. That don't matter. Anybody could go. And it shifted my whole perspective. And I stopped playing. I said, no more games, bro. No more games. I'm not putting myself in rooms just to make somebody happy or somewhere I don't want to be, or no more playing with myself, bro. And it just overnight shifted my perspective on life. But that's what that you said, when you start losing things, you start losing people, what it does is it elevates the seriousness of life. And I realized like, yo, I have no time to play with this potential. I got to get out there and give it now.
Everything that you're doing now, from your show and just doing this in general and just making platforms for others and giving people the information, is everything your mom was.
Oh, for sure.
And to sum it up for all of us is, you don't gain that knowledge until you sit down with yourself. COVID has some people sitting with themselves and they came out of COVID real good. Some people got into COVID and it turned crazy. Some people, they took their time to really understand what was going on, and by the time they got to COVID, nothing really bothered them.
That's right.
Everyone dealt with it differently. The job now is, how do you deal with this absence of someone, knowing that they loved you with all their heart?
Right.
They gave you all this information, and
Right.
are you going to live on and uphold what they gave you, or are you going to renege and get into your feelings and do the opposite?
Oh man, you spitting. You said something. So the one thing I left out, and not on purpose, one of the main things um I took from the loss of my brother was that he was my number one safety net. Um, he was the one person I could always turn to and get help or get whatever I needed or whatever. And when that was taken from me, it really realized that it's just me here and that I gotta save myself. And so it made me really do for self in a way that I never, ever, ever did, because I kind of was running through life kind of lax. You got you have a safety net, you'll walk a little looser, But it tightened me up right away. What it did was it really just let me know nobody was coming to save me, bro. And also what it felt like was a baton pass. So I say all that to say that when he was here, he was like my number one protector and anything. Like, it's going down, my brother coming, no matter what, bro, he's coming. But I thought about all the sacrifices he made for me. All the nights we was out that he put his life on the line, or he put his freedom on the line, or he put something on the line for me to continue. And I told myself, ain't no way in hell I could let that go in vain, bro. There's no way I could let all those sacrifices he made for me fail. This got to be a story of victory, bro. This got to be a story of winning. Because why would if I don't win, or I don't achieve, or I don't become this person, that shit was for nothing. There was many nights where he sacrificed his freedom for me. And so I took it as a baton pass. Yo, you won now. I brought you this far, because that was the design. It's all design. I brought you this far, and you got to go and keep going. And so that's why that shifted me overnight. I called my sister. I said, Nikki, I feel different. She said, what's up? I said, I don't know, but I feel different. It was instantaneous, bro.
Let go of a lot of pain. Let go
It
of a
was
lot of
instantaneous, bro.
and it's a sense of relief after you get that shock moment to hit you, and you just go, oh shoot, I got to
And at
shift
first,
out of it.
at first I couldn't process. I'm not even gonna bullshit you.
No,
First,
it's
I was looking for blood, bro.
angry, frustrated.
Bro.
You don't want to hear nothing. Nothing. Don't want to hear
Bro.
nothing.
Dedicated my life.
Get it. And that's the bro.
To
That's
catching this. You feel me?
and I get it.
And even right now, I'm struggling with it because it's that fine line of like, yo, don't, because I know what I'm capable of, but I'm like, yo, and so I trust the plan. I trust that it was just time.
Yeah.
So
and again, and as you said the key point is you're not trying your best, you're doing your best. And as you're doing, you're learning and you're leaping forward. As you're learning, you're becoming a better version of yourself.
Sure.
You've done the best step by not taking the impulse, not going with the first blackout. Fuck it. And that's the job of learning not to go with the ill intent. And sometimes you would get, again, goes back to what I said, teeter-tottering. Yeah. You got that line. You go, and then you go, baby boy. Because when you crash out, you can't pull back. It's already done.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And that's the morale of life. There is a consequence for your actions, and there's also a reward for your actions.
That too.
It is really a perspective, good or bad, cause and effect, and pro or con, however you want to see it on your perspective. It's your choice, and you have to perceive it by daily routines of learning how to better understand yourself, better control yourself, and be tapped into the emotional stability of saying, you know what, I'm not right at this moment, but when I do get right, I'm going to get out of this cloud. And when I do see what's right, I'm going to start doing those things that matter. I think a lot of us have to take the time to do what's right for us so then we can lead ourselves into a place where we're not falling into these emotions that really put us in a dark place. A lot of us, bro, just countless of dark things that I could have told you I've done, being angry, upsetting, killing my own self, and really just being so bliss because I'm so frustrated. I'm got my mom, I ain't got a plate to eat. I'm mad how dudes that got food and got support and all the things that my mom did for your mom or did. Where y'all at? And my mom never hesitated to be in your crib. So then you go, you know what? I'm bugging. I'm looking at it in the lens of a person who's in dire need. And all I needed is to take the time to heal and take the time to just understand that these are all processes that we have. You have to process the hurt.
That's right.
Stop denying it. Stop prolonging it. Stop putting it on the shelf and allowing it to collapse. You must feel it. You must go through it, and you must talk about it. Why, what, and what can I have done to change it, to get out of it? And this right here,
that's where your power lies in that accountability.
And this is where you become even stronger.
For sure.
When you are going through a crazy thought, it's okay to have a safe conversation with someone who's not going to judge you.
Right.
We have had conversations back and forth enough so you could tell that honestly, they get each other. Most people can't even have an interview without getting each other, without having to overthrow stuff.
Right.
You want to be understood? Be understanding to the person that's leading. I understand you and I honor you and I appreciate you for this time.
And that's why you're here.
And I just want you to know, man,
what is so let's wrap this up in what is your vision? I mean, I know you're serving, and what would you like to see or what would you like to accomplish?
I'm seeing it now, man.
You know what I mean?
If I'm inspiring you, if you see the inspiration, I got this from Woods, I got it from people like you, Mike, I got it from Fats, from Poppy, from Jennifer. I've got it from a lot of inspirational people, from Kids Helping Kids, from the Boys and Girls Club, from the school system. I gotta, name these places that really helped me found the foundation of understanding self, because you have to go through a lot of loopholes to understand that in those loopholes, there is access that you have that can't be denied because it's for you. Every path that you're taking and every path that you're on, the only way you can get off the path is if you decide to just say, I'm going to stop and not do anything.
Right.
Your job as an individual is, while you're taking this walk, step by step, day by day, breath, inhale and exhale, you decide how you take on your challenges.
That's right.
How you take on information. We have to stop being so quick to rah and jolt We have to do better at just taking a moment and pause.
Don't react to your emotions. Respond.
Respond with care.
Right.
How would you do
That's
if you had a kid, if it was your sibling? You wouldn't stab on them if they was little. You would deal with them with tender loving care. So if you're gonna do life, what I want to see is more tender loving care from people. And I hope that what you get from this is that we care to see you fight through your struggles and not be your struggles. And I hope that when you do look at this video, that you get the best version of yourself. And Mike, I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna leave it right there. And again, I should thank you for being an inspiration and using your vessel, because you don't know who you're inspiring, but you're inspiring somebody.
Thank you, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you so
Always a
much for
pleasure,
having
brother.
me.